Good morning. Jim Townsend here. Townsend.d is my website. I seem to have made it through another night, but waking up's kind of funny. Some days it's, oh God, another one. But there are days the sun shines from the inside and the out too, so I've learned to live in my mind, I guess, at times, to escape the outer world. Your mind is a portal to a different place. I always loved poetry. When I was in the hospital, I told myself a little poem. It's a Robert Service poem. It's called The Quitter. When you're lost in the wild and you're scared as a child and death looks you bang in the eye and you're mad as a boil, it's according to foil to cock your revolver and die. But the code of a man says fight all you can, and self-disillusion is barred, and hunger and woe, it's easy to blow. It's a hell served for breakfast, it's hard. Well, you're sick of the game, well now that's a shame, but you're young and you're brave and you're bright, you've had a raw deal, I know, but don't squeal, buck up, do your damnedest and fight. It's a plugging away that will win you the day, so don't be a piker or pard, just draw on your grit, it's easy to quit. It's keeping your chin up that's hard. It's easy to cry that you're beaten and die, it's easy to crawfish and crawl, but to fight and to fight when hope's out of sight, why, that's the best game of them all. You know you come out of each grueling bout, all broken and battered and scarred, just have one more try, it's easy to die, it's keeping on living that's hard. I love poetry. I'd love to tell you another little poem. It's written by a fellow named Langdon about 100 years ago or so. When you were a tadpole, and I was a fish, in Paleozoic time, and side by side on the ebbing tide we sprawled through the ooze and the slime, or skittered with many a caudal flip to the depths of the Carbrian fen, my heart was rife with the joy of life, that I loved you even then. And minus we lived, and minus we loved, and minus at last we died, and deep in the rift of the paradox drift we slumbered side by side. Well, the world turned on in the lays of time, and the hot lands heaved anew, till we drew our breath from the end of death and crept into life again. We were amphibians, scaled and pale and drab as a dead man's hand. We coiled at ease in the dripping trees, caught with the mud and the sand, croaking and blind with our three-clawed feet, and writing a language dumb. There wasn't a spark in that empty dark to hint of a life to come. But happy we lived, and happy we loved, and happy we died once more, and our forms were rolled in the clinging mold of the Unicornian shore. Well, the eons came and the eons fled, and the sleep that wrapped us fast was riven away in the day till death was past. Then light and swift through the jungle trees we swung on our airy flights, or breathed in the balms of the fronded palms and the hush of the moonless nights. And oh, what beautiful years were there, when our hearts clung each to each, and our lives were filled, and our senses thrilled to the first tone of speech. Thus life by life, and love by love, we passed through cycles strange, and breath by breath, and death by death, we followed the chain of change, till there came a time in the law of life when all of the nursing sighed, the shadows broke, and the soul awoke in a strange dim dream of God. And I was thewed like an auric bull, and tusked like the great cave bear, and you, my sweet thing, the feet were down in your glorious hair, deep in the gloom of the fireless cave, while the night crept o'er the plain, and the moon hung red o'er the riverbed, and wandered the bones of the slain. Then I flaked the flint to a cutting edge, I shaped it with brutal craft, I tore a shank from the woodland length, and fitted it head in half. Then I hid me close to the reedy tarn, where the mammoth came to drink. Through brawn and bone I drove the stone, and slew him upon the brink. Then loud I howled through the moonlit waste, loud answered our kith and kin. From west and east to the crimson feast the clan came tramping in. O'er joint and gristle and padded hoof we fought and clawed and tore, and cheek by jowl with many a growl we talked the marble o'er. While I carved that fight on the reindeer bone with a rude and hairy hand, I pictured his fall on the cavern wall, that men might understand that we lived by blood and the right of might, ere human laws were drawn, and the age of sin did not begin till our brutal flesh were gone. And that was 1,000,000 years ago, in a time that no man knows, but here tonight, in the mellow light we sit at Delmonico's, Your eyes are deep as the Devon springs, your hair is dark as jet meters, your fuel, your life is new, your soul untried and yet. Our trail is on the Kimmeridge Pike, and the scarp of the Purbeck flag. We have left our bones in the bagshot stones, and deep in the coral and crags. Our loves are old, our lives are old, and death shall come and we shall come today. And they say we shall not live again, for God wrought our souls from the Tremadoc beds, He furnished them wings to fly. He sowed our spawn in the world's dim dawn, and we know we shall not die. Those cities rise o'er the forgotten graves, where the crook-boned men make war, and the Oxwain Creek o'er the buried caves, where the mummies man afar. So as we linger at luncheon here, or many a dainty dish, let us drink anew to a time we knew where a tadpole and that was a fish. Sorry about that. I just got some wild pains happening here, and it drives me to distraction at times. Poetry. Well, I guess I should keep on reciting some poetry, because the point of this kind of shot out of my head there. There's a truth. You know, what is the way, the truth, and the light? It's a hidden message. It's a message that nobody knows anymore. People have forgotten what the Christ is. I mean, they've forgotten in their souls what the Christ is. You know, if you look at the antithesis between communism and capitalism, you know, communism and capitalism are economic systems. Communism is motivation of a society out of the spirit of a community. And capitalism is the motivation of a society out of the acquisition of capital. And they are the two great thesis and antithesis. If you look at the Holy Bible, it contains a thesis and an antithesis. The Judaism is a religion of banking laws. It's not really a religion at all. It's passed off as one. And the refutation of a Christianity is not a religion either. It's passed off as one. People have been led down a blind alley for a very purposeful reason, an evil, wicked, mean, and nasty, very purposeful reason as well. We have been beguiled and misled and confused, confuzzled by a certain class of people. The next poem I was going to tell you. The Einstein and the Eddington, counting up the score, the Einstein's card showed 98 and Eddington's was more, and both lay bunkered in the trap, and both stood up and swore. I hate to see the Einsteins said, such quantities of sand, just why they placed a bunker here I cannot understand. 7 babes with 7 mops would sweep the fairway clean. I'm certain I can make the shot in less than 17. I doubt it, said the Eddington. Your slice is pretty mean. The time has come, said Eddington, to speak of many things, of cubes and clocks and meter stakes, and why a pendulum swings, and how far space is out of plumb, and whether time has wings. I learned at school the apple's fall to gravity was due, but now you tell me that the cause is merely G mu. Cannot bring myself to think that this is really true. And space, it has dimensions 4 instead of only 3. The square on the hypotenuse ain't what it used to be. It grieves me sore to see what you've done to plane geometry. You hold the time as badly warped that even light is bent. I think I get the idea here, if this is what you meant. The mail the postman brings today, tomorrow will be sent. The straightest line, Einstein replied, is not the one that's straight, but curves around upon itself much like the figure 8. And if you go too rapidly, you will arrive too late. But Easter Day is Christmas time, and far away is near, and 2 and 2 is more, and 4 and over there is here. You may be right, said Eddington, but it seems a trifle queer. World, you know, if you look at the esteem that Einstein, who was barely more than an idiot, has held, and the way that his machinations have led the world down a blind alley on purpose. I mean, he was a media blitz. He basically parachuted in, and you know, the idea of Nobel Peace Prizes, handing out a Nobel Peace Prize to a man that wrote Roosevelt a letter and told him to develop an atomic bomb and stuff like that. Wait until the Americans find out that their entire atomic energy program is run by Jews, and always has been. And these are the people with their finger on the trigger. And take a look at what they think of us, the human race. Well, it appears that I've run out of time again, so peace, my brethren. Love you all. Take care.